You're back in the correct aspect ratio.
Hooray! Oh, there I am! Woo! Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. I should make some hold music, shouldn't I? I don't know what happened there. Just gonna check. Make sure you... Yeah! Oh, and it just used the same... Oh, God, I love this program. The streaming service I'm using is incredible. I would recommend it, apart from the £50 a month. Well, $50 a month price tag. Right, back on with the show. Slight technical difficulties there, but if I didn't have them, would it have been a proper stream? I don't think so. Been very lucky so far, because I'm neurotic and test things before they happen. But this time, alas, it was the fate of the stream not to work. I hope Instagram's working as well. I work because... Oh, wonderful. Cool. Right, what was I saying? Housekeeping. Please take part in Troll Bingo. If you've got any guesses what we're going to get trolled with, pop in the comments. Please ignore my stomach if it rumbles, because it has been. This kidney diet is not happy to me. Get involved. Let me know if there's anything you want to read. Laughing Hard by Charles Bukowski opened. Right, we are back. We're back and we are good. Do you know what I didn't do? I didn't set my timer. Whew! Somebody should not have drunk so much last night. I drank way too much last night. It's all my own fault. Shall we do... Yes, let's do this one. Okay. Bootlicking, trolling bingo. Okay, that's good. That's a good one. Oh, yes! Yes. Look, I made it do the thing. Bootlicking. Ah. Okay, that excites me. Okay. So, this next one is a poem that is, again, I think something that we need to hear at the moment. It's not mine, it's an inspiration piece. Some of you may know it. There's a really good video reading of it if you are interested. Yes, the comments are coming from all platforms, darling. So I can I can bounce you up there. So yes, this is I Want a President by Zoe Leonard. I know we don't have a president, but I think it's very applicable to all types of authority and government. If you know it, please enjoy it. If you don't know it and you want to see it read by some cool queer people, jump on YouTube. There's loads of readings of this, but I love it because I think, you know, now more than ever, we're just like, I mean, I remain eternally pissed off at the government, but like right now more than ever, we need someone who's actually got a grip. So this is I Want a President by Zoe Leonard. I want a dyke for president. I want a person with AIDS for president, and I want a fag for vice president, and I want someone with no health insurance, and I want someone who grew up in a place where the earth is so saturated with toxic waste that they didn't have a choice about getting leukemia. I want a president that had an abortion at 16, and I want a candidate who isn't the lesser of two evils, and I want a president who lost their last lover to AIDS, who still sees that in their eyes every time they lay down to rest, who held their lover in their arms and knew they were dying. I want a president with no air conditioning, a president who has stood in line at the clinic, at the DMV, at the welfare office, and has been unemployed and laid off and sexually harassed and gay bashed and deported. I want someone who has spent the night in their tombs and had a cross burned on their lawn and survived assault. I want someone who has been in love and been hurt, who respects sex, who has made mistakes and learned from them. I want someone with bad teeth, someone who has eaten nasty hospital food, someone who cross-dresses and has done drugs and been in therapy. I want someone who has committed civil disobedience, and I want to know why this isn't possible. I want to know why we started learning somewhere down the line that a president is always a clown, always a John, and never a hooker. Always a boss and never a worker. Always a liar, always a thief, and never caught. Now that, I think, speaks for itself. Very, very powerful poem, that. And yeah, I would recommend jumping on YouTube and just watching all the amazing queer people reading it out, because it's really quite amazing. We've got, what have we got here? Yeah, we've got a heart from AJ Hyde. Thank you so much. Violet says, in my experience, all governments can be vastly improved with a decent haircut, that foot off the top, straight through the neck. Yeah, I mean, the older I get, the more I become an anarchist. I'm like, fucking burn them all, it doesn't matter. But I don't know, maybe that's just depression. Love that one. Yeah, I love that poem too. And I don't know, I think it's all the more important with this whole potential relaxing of a lockdown that we acknowledge these things that, you know, they're doing to us just because of the economy rather than our safety, which I'm not going to go on a political rant, but you know, we got to keep these ideas at the front of our mind. Their failings, yeah, we need to remember their failings. I mean, wouldn't necessarily call them I think they would be wrong choices, and because everyone's allowed to fail, right? Because failure is how you learn. But I think this is something different than failure. This is like, just, it's my stomach going again, is what it is. I'm definitely going to eat some chips after this. Yeah, they're just, and it's always hard to know how much of what people do and say is influenced by the government, yada yada yada. But I just feel like we could have stopped this by not voting these guys in. But that's the end of my ranting for now. Right. Yep. I agree, AJ. I agree. I am going to read you another poem that I wrote called NRE, which is short for New Relationship Energy, as some of you will know. And it was 2 poems, and then I just kind of smashed them together because they were about the same thing. Hey, hello, girl. I'm from Brazil. Hi, Tony from Brazil. Hello. I hope you're good. You came just in time. I'm about to read a poem called NRE, New Relationship Energy. You left me with a kiss. Infected, half dying, shadows of our love making, points gained there for trying. Consumed so I eat nothing, to use a metaphor. Handprints across my chest. Oh, babe, do you want more? We speak of secret things, of chemistry and the weather, and the city is ours for the taking, so let's burn it down together. I'm not in love. It's not even a crush, and I'm just looking for a way to gush. So twist me, baby, bite me hard. You take the lead and you're in charge. Work my body so I see the result. You are the high priest in my cult. I'm not in love. It's just a crush. So I'm begging you, just make me blush. Just like 2 sides of a relationship there. About the lust and the love, partners in crime, but actually are they? I try and write a lot about different sides of things in my work. If you saw, those of you that have me on Facebook, I switched my cover photo today to my first album cover, which is me fighting myself. Awesome. Such a fun photo shoot. And yeah, we just did it against thanks Violet. Yeah, we just did it against a black white wall, and then just photoshopped me fighting myself. Super fun. It's an awesome image. Yeah, and I mean I did that on purpose because I do struggle with like this part of my personality versus that part of my personality, obviously, which is why I called my album Dichotomy. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of duality going on in my life anyway, you know, like bipolar, bisexual, or well, pansexual is correct, but yeah, tick, tick, tick. Yeah, so I often have the whole fight between one part of me wants to do something and the other part of me that wants to do something, and occasionally one wins out over the other, or the other wins out over one, and then I have to go back and make the sensible decision. Big up the pans! Yeah. Yeah, pansexual wasn't, well, it was a thing, it had been used, but it wasn't a popular term when I was younger. So I said to somebody earlier this week, I used to say, oh, well, just work with what you got. But now we have a word for that because the world is wonderful. Let me close this one. Actually, that's why I cried at the end of Hollywood this week. Right. You get a choice. Seems you're all here. Welcome, everybody. Would you like the review? Would you like a short story? Or do you want some Angela Carter? Vote now. Hold music. Is this gonna work? Please, cause I know it's something. Short story. Okay, bam. Skeletons. I like that. Should make it more. Short story if it's one of yours. Yeah. This one. So this is, yeah, I think we've got enough time for both. Yeah, I'm going to read Skeletons and then I'll read the Angela Carter for you, Alex. So this piece is taking it all the way back to the start. This is the first piece that I ever performed out loud. Like, well, aside from reading in writing school, which I went to many times. It's minty, by the way. I wish it was gin. Where was I? Yes, this is the first thing I ever wrote to be read out, and it was at my friend's now sadly deceased arts club in Brighton. It was like 4 a.m, and she was like, you gotta read your story out. You got to. No, actually, sorry, it was performance night first. Then it was 4 a.m. I read this twice that night. That's how good she thought it was. But yeah, it was really funny because it was my first ever reading, and yeah, the subject of the story has a South African character, and there was a South African person in the room. So pretty much off the bat, I was like, shit, I'm gonna piss her off. But she loved it. So this is called Skeletons. When I was a younger writer, I used to hang my writing off a lot of concepts. So there is a concept here. If you can guess it by the title. Probably won't read the whole. Maybe I will read the whole thing. Skeletons. Are you ready? Cool. I'd take a deep breath. And if any of you have any faith left in one night stands, it's time you raised your hands. Anyone? Okay, right. It's probably best you leave the room, just for safekeeping. Not that I'm trying to fuck you up or anything. It's not a trick. I'm not trying to piss you off, but I think you need a warning anyway. Especially if you're walking home alone tonight. Especially if you're taking someone home tonight. In fact, if you're planning on fucking anyone you've only just met in the next few weeks, it's best you leave the room for the two of us. And then take one deep breath. Think about fucking the people on either side of you. Right. You've been warned. So when I was 18, I had this boyfriend who left me to go to South Africa and clean swimming pools. Just temporary, like he said, for a couple of months, and then he'd come back and we'd get married, and he'd come back and we'd move in together and live in domestic bliss. And whilst he was away, I went to uni my first year, and we'd spend hours on the phone sharing secrets across electronic airways. Modern day bubble of technology, so easy to keep in contact, thank God for the internet. When he left, he'd given me this leather cowboy hat as a symbol of his fidelity. At night, when it was cold, when I was alone and shivering under my bed sheets, I'd put on this hat and remember he loved me. So far away, but under the same sky, my boyfriend loved me. And I kept my heart all stitched up for him. I'd spend the long nights staring up at the stars, wondering if he was staring at them, looking at the same mottled sky. Wishing those months away. Rattling through my life hell for leather, because that's what lovers do for each other, isn't it? They wait. And I waited. So this boyfriend, I call him up after 3 months and he's not coming home. He needs another 3, just to tie things up. His cousin, who owns the business, has fallen on hard times and needs his support, but I'm not happy and, well, I'm in love, so I agree. I could break the world for this guy, right? We're in love. Sure, that's what people in love did for each other. They waited. They put their lives on hold, dialing back the hours without each other, whiling away the moments till they could feel themselves in each other's arms. Right? What was another 3 months? I had his hat, anyway. He needed that back. A month later, the middle of the night, I get this call from South Africa. A low, dark sobbing across the electronic airwaves, his voice drawn out of satellites, bounced around the globe. I'd never seen my boyfriend cry in front of me, so this long-distance, crackling few sobs seemed somehow alien to me. I remembered wishing I could hold him, wondering what he'd do without comfort, wondering who he'd turn to at the time of crisis when I hadn't been there, who'd he choose to hold. Turns out it was someone else, not me. My alien boyfriend. On the other end of the line, sobs I'd never seen in real life. I imagined the tears running down his chlorine-stained face, wiping at them with chemical-burnt hands, mildew-threaded fingernails, specks of rich people's dirt on his clothes, crusted caviar and vomit. My boyfriend, he tells me his cousin has been shot, that someone just walked up and let off a gun point-blank range on the back of his head, and it had all been so quick. My boyfriend said that he couldn't even remember what the guy looked like. All he could remember was the pop and the scream and the brains on the floor and the pool they were cleaning at the time and the taste of the blood in his mouth as he screamed, looking at the drain. I think he wants consoling. I try my best, but the space between us, the airwaves, they're too insincere, and I can't quite find a way to stop him sniffling, his words coming in long, heavy gaps across the planet. And then he tells me he's not coming home. And he has to stay. He's inherited the pool cleaning business. So that's it. South Africa's not for me, and plus I'm at uni. I need to go off and be a famous writer, right? I'm a pool, but I'm no better than manky mildew, rich people champagne stains, and caviar dried onto those stones at the edge of the swimming pool. And there's one sentence. Just a few short words. With my heart lying in pieces. Baby, he says. You can't trust anyone. You never know when someone's going to flip. Don't ever let your guard down. I told him not to call me baby and hung up. Oh well. Years later, I'm waking up in the mess of this guy's bedroom, this shitty little one bedroom somewhere in North London, not like I could tell you where exactly. We got here through 2 bottles of white wine, some vodka and lemonades, a few shots of tobacco, and we're totally loaded. And I trust him enough to let him lead me back to his house, and on the bus up the hill he leans into me and kisses me like there's no one watching. He'd had no money on his Oyster card, so I'd thrown some loose change at the bus driver, too fucked to figure out if it was the right amount, too fucked to realise this guy's just taken me for a ride. Like, did he really walk all this way here to see me tonight? Like, he'll fuck me if I pay for everything, like I'll do so anyway, and fuck him to feel something close to when my ex-boyfriend and I were happy and had hopes for some blissful future. So me and this guy, we're on the bus, and we're acting like children, real kid stuff. I'm swinging around the pole, and he's laughing and trying not to puke, and all my fake pearls and leopard print and glam grunge look sets me to do is look 10 years younger than I am, and heavily out of place amid the late-night red-trousered hipsters and the businessmen who haven't been home trying not to fall asleep. So he's laughing, and we're playing music from his phone, and he's throwing air guitar moves at the other passengers, and they tut and frown their head at us, and I'm miming along, and he leans into me again and steals the tiara from my head, kissing me as he does so. And for a moment, I find it so hard to remember. When did I meet him? Was it 2 hours ago, or 2 years ago, or 2 centuries ago? You know, the kind of guy that does that, stops all the time when you're around him, there in front of me, throwing his head back as he pushes the strings of the air guitar across his front, and we go Iggy and Bowie blow drop style, except there's no guitar between us, and I'm staring at his crotch, kind of batting at it with my chin as he laughs and laughs and laughs, and the other passengers yell abuse us. And then finally, when we don't listen, the driver stops the bus. He's a blaze of red anger stomping towards us, and this guy, he has his arm around my waist at the time, and he tries to front up to the driver, but he's too small, and there's one red shoe and one blue shoe, and the bus driver stands over us with his hands on his hips and his arms shaking. "Get the fuck off my bus," he screams, before hitting the emergency button and manhandling us out the door. And we are white wine rock and roll wasted anyway, so we kick the side of the bus as it speeds off, with some of the passengers flipping us a middle finger. And now we're stuck in London, and I have no clue where we are, and this guy, he's more focused on strumming along to Stevie Nicks and whirling me round and in the middle of the pavement to Rhiannon than finding our way back. So that's what we do for a while. We're the kids we always thought we should have been, drunk in the moonlight and laughing, before one heavy silent air guitar thrust knocks his phone out of his hand and it smashes on the floor. And I see him flare, bright red as he swears into the night. The whole world freezes. City silence. And a car runs past with dubstep blaring. Another bus runs past, and for a moment I wonder if I should get on it, escape. These kind of men are usually to be avoided, and they're usually a lie, and some white wine dolled sense of preservation tells me at the back of my mind to run. But he's so cute. Oh well, he says. Then, "Are you cold?" I nod. He scoops up the wreckage of his mobile phone and takes my hand. We walk up Highgate Hill, hand in hand, the alcohol sweating together from both of our pores. Spelled wrong. It's hard for me to talk and keep walking in a straight line, and he's muttering on about something or other, and I'm just trying to keep my heels on and keep forward in a straight line. And this guy, he must think I'm a great listener because I'm nodding in all the right places and saying, yeah, like he might be too wasted to get caught, and I'm lucky because by the time we get to his place, my foolish drunken mind is telling me that I might be able to fall in love again 10 years after my dream got ripped apart. Maybe with this one, someone's brains won't get spilt. Someone's heart might not get ripped apart. Wonder which one took longer to stitch. Before we go into his place, he puts a finger on my lips. "Gotta be quiet," he says. "My housemates, they're all asleep. You can't wake them up." So I just shrug. And he pulls me through the door and up a set of wide stairs with a Victorian-looking postbox on one side. This guy, his house is dark, and he doesn't turn on the lights till we're in his bedroom, and even then it's little flickers of tea lights and big church candles that light up his room. Romantic. I have this moment of chilling sobriety that goes, how the fuck did you get here? Then he jumps on me, and everything fades. So, some hours later, I'm waking up in this guy's bed, and there's no one around. So, some hours later, I'm waking up in this guy's bed, expected to be all alcohol sweat limb tangled, groaning and hiding from the sunlight. Tangled, fry up breakfasts and hanging out in our underwear like the air guitar from the night before, but all I am is cold. And I'm alone with his off-white sheets wrapped around me in the cold, harsh light of the morning, and I try calling out his name, a simple, careful noise into the darkness, and it echoes through the empty corridors, bouncing off the fixtures. And this guy? Yeah, maybe he was a little weird, but so what? He was a performance artist, an art student. So he was a little weird, so what? Maybe he'd just run out to get some coffee or make some killer fry-up for us to share together, and over our stories of getting kicked off the bus, and maybe he'll be back soon. Yeah. So maybe it won't be too hard for me to try and find the bathroom to freshen up a little. So I push open the door to the rest of the house. There are bottles everywhere, flies skirting between them, rubbish bags, stinking, abandoned at the corners of the room, dusk-red trails of rubbish juice drip down the corridor, a little trail of red ruby rust runs down the edge of the room. No wonder some sort of art school thing. But then I remember, where are his housemates? And it's 11 a.m, so why is everything so quiet? And I'd always imagined a house full of art students and musicians to be buzzing, a epicenter of creativeness. And there are books everywhere, magazines piled as high as the ceiling, little mothballs of dust making my head pound, and the smell of unwashed dishes and rotting meat from the kitchen is making my stomach turn over. Finally, after stumbling into a few rooms with a giant, oversized, full latex sculptures of women in the bathroom, I gag and throw up. Ouch. My head's still banging like a drum, the cold of the room and the fact I'm walking around in my underwear and a red, oversized, hair dye-stained t-shirt, this kind of starts to get to me. Okay, where the hell is this guy? And why is his house empty when he said he had flatmates? And, what's with the smell? And where is my fucking coffee? So, I wander back through the empty void of the house, picking my way through the rubbish and remains of art on the floor. One thing's for sure. He's lied to me. And no mistake, it becomes very obvious as I'm trying to find my way back to his bed that he lives alone, that my possible love interest superhero of the night has really filled all these rooms with this fucking bullshit that he calls art. And my heart does this thing when I realise I've been lied to, where it contracts and misses a beat and thumps hard into life again at the next moment. Oh well. But somehow I get turned around, trying to get back to his bedroom to find my clothes, and there's a Hansel and Gretel trail of them lying around the house, my pants tied in the staircase, my bra stretched over a lamp. There's the shade light white and threaded with the blue and red lines of my bra. And as I untie the bra, there's this papery rip in the lamp as the shade rips in two and flaps a little onto the bulb. And my bra fizzes and the smell of burning material makes my stomach turn over again, and I'm just trying not to vomit as I follow the trail of red little footprints from the garbage bag juice up the stairs, finding my skirt. My necklace. And my tights, hanging from the doorknob of one tiny little room, and inside I can see flickering lights, the curtains drawn, someone pacing around inside. And sure, this guy? He's a little weird, but the goosebumps that I've gathered along the insides of my thighs retract a little. Is this a game? Does he set up cameras? Can we not go back to last night? Maybe my food is in this room, behind this darkened door, with plod, plod, plod of footsteps over harsh floorboards. So, I laugh when I push the door open. Very funny. I yell, "Are you as hungover as I am?" And then it hits me. Like a ton of bricks. Some far off vanilla incense trying to cover it, but it's hot and earthy and milk in the summertime and stinking. And it's firing some primal urge inside of me to run, and I cover my mouth with my hand, and I wonder why I didn't pick up this smell when I was wasted, and oh God, I miss this guy so much. Where is he gone? And there's a closet. Surrounded by strange items, severed body parts, and glass full of eyeballs, a glass jar of fingers. Oh God. I pull open the closet and there's my top hanging off the row of white bones, all tied together with fisherman's lines, all up in the shapes of the human form, puppets lashed together with real human bones. Bleached, I realise the thick muggy smell that's infecting this house is the smell of boiling cartilage, the scent of bone marrow being burnt away, and that swimming pool scent of bleach knocking around, it's to stain them white. Boiling. For hours whilst I slept, seeping through the foundations and the gaps in the brick of his house of horrors, making my stomach turn over. Have I known this guy for hours or seconds or minutes or centuries? Fuck. Don't trust anyone. Not even for a moment. And I have this clarity that makes me wonder where I lost that advice. Behind me there's footsteps. Behind me there's a knife. And he takes a step towards me. Woo! An oldie, a long one, but a goodie, I think. Defo. Lucius. Thank you very much, Lucius. Yes, I agree. Creativity and variety is definitely what's going to save us from Corona. Well, it's not going to kill Corona, but it's going to make us be able to last through it. I totally agree. That was amazing, says Violet. Let me flash your comment up. Yay! Thank you so much. Oh, you loved it. Yeah, it's when I got going, actually, it's not half bad, is it? That's why I went through the whole thing, because the structure of it doesn't really make sense unless you read it all out. So I kind of had to read it all once I got started. I don't remember it being that long, but it is long apparently. More minty. Swallowed about 4 leaves. Loved it. Yeah. Do you have any more short stories? I have loads of short stories. Okay, you got a choice, guys. Do you want a bit from Do I write for the Voices in My Head's band? Unfortunately not. No, they write their own stuff. Yeah, I think it's different. They're very good at historical stuff, where I'm just like good at my emotions. These are my emotions. Yes, and also, I mean, the men are completely capable of writing way better stuff than I could write for them themselves. So yeah, that's their thing. But hey, never say never. I'm not joining them in. All right. Do you want Angela Carter or do you want a short story? A short story. Right, let me grab one quickly. And then we will sign off, because that one took a really long time. Short story. Everybody wants a short story. Okay. We are changing tactic here very quickly. So when you see the credits, please ignore them. And I'm going to tell you what this one is. I think I read that one. I can't read all of that. Okay, I'm going to read you this one. It is one that I have already read, but it's the only thing that I can lay my hands on quickly that is short enough to fit into the time that we've got left. So a friend of mine, you can see that, I'll sit back a bit. Yeah, a friend of mine ran, she's not doing it anymore, she ran a magazine, and the title of the magazine was Your Brain on Drugs. So I wrote about my brain on opiates. And next time I will factor in more short stories for you guys. Maybe I'll cut down the amount that I'm reading. And just read short stories in their entirety. Seems you enjoyed that so much. So this is My Brain on Drugs. This is called My Brain on Opiates. My brain on drugs. My brain on opiates is a martyr, a metaphor, a precious warrior carrying me through life on a fearsome carriage. Horse-drawn and mighty, with one swallow of a tiny pill, I don great armour, serious, deadly. I throw reflections on the murky terrain, the muddy calm pool of life. My brain on Opiates is a lover's smile, stripped back and naked, exposed for the first time as it shines pearlescent and duck egg blue. My brain on opiates is a castle gussied up, lazy knights swaying on the balcony, cards exchanged and helmets down, for there's no war, not even on this terrain. Here, we live peacefully and kind. Here we exchange words for energy, which is used to shield the fortress and the lake and the river, where once a young girl gave a gift to a gods in exchange for this utopia. My brain on opiates is a sign, a sigil. It is a fence put up around my kidneys, my stomach, my heart, 3 holy organs, and the Trinity is complete, sealed off from that potluck I opted out of at birth. Infected genes, irreparably disjointed and coded with the number 2. Decisions. Made by some unearthly power about that bitch there can always walk with her pain, her. She deserves a little fuck you. After all, she's so charismatic and pretty. She can talk her way out of most situations, so it's right we scramble her insides. So my brain on opiates becomes a saviour. A single fuck you back at my genetics, a sweet, chaotic ramble of the contemporary rush, here, there, lift this, hold that, carry me. My brain on opiates is my saviour, my insurance. I can get home not trapped across town at 2 a.m. when the Uber drivers crawl the curb waiting for drunk girls to drive long routes home with. And so, my brain on opiates becomes a saviour, a survival. Precious manner of what I am, my private and secret pills popped in public bathrooms and under my desk at work when I accidentally drop my pen. How could I cheat on her? She's the most careful and fearless body I have ever known. It's not cool to be a drug addict. By contrast, my brain off opiates is multicolour, too many noises, small sounds and night sweats, stabbing pains and more than maximum doses of cocodamol, coupled with the precious rainbow, all-known feeling that no matter how hard I try, I'll always return to her. Quick one there. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone does want to give me any tips, as I said, it's all gone towards, I spent like so much money on advertising and stream, and so everything that is donated will go straight to recoup that. And if it's a profit, which it won't be, but if it does happen to, it gets kept to pay for next month, so it's not won't be misused. I'm not going to go shopping on your money if you do decide to give me it. And we have not been trolled, have we? We've had hello from Brazil, and that was really sweet. Again, you loved it. Thanks, AJ. I'm going to put your comment. Again, loved it. Sorry, I promise I'll get over the comments thing by next week. But right now, I think it's really cool. Look. Especially on Facebook, when you can see people's faces. Oh, she's interactive. Right, I am going to read you... Watching on Twitch from now on. Hi, Alex. Yeah, so I'm going to read you a few lines that I wrote when I was drunk, not last night, some other time. And then I'm going to play the credits. So, gosh. Once again, quickest hour ever. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye from the voices in my head.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And this one hasn't got a name yet because it's only 6 lines. But I quite liked it. This is untitled. So we called each other names. From each side of the channel, white noise, I'm in deep, white noise you can't handle. And I'm surprised that I missed your crisis apparition. So map out my veins and inject your condition. Goodbye, I love you all.